Globally, onions are second only to tomatoes in terms of production. If you're growing them, you'll want to get the most from your crop, and that means storing your beautiful bulbs for as long as possible. And it's easy to do if you follow these simple steps. I absolutely love growing onions. It's just such fun to see these glorious bulbs swell within a matter of weeks. Now, as you can see here, the onions have been grown as clusters. They've been started from multi-sown onion seeds, then planted out together. And as they've grown, the bulbs have just pushed each other apart in opposite directions. It means I can pack much more into what is quite a small space actually. And if you'd like to see a video on how I got these started, I will pop a link to a video that covers that in the description below. You can tell your onions are nearing the point of harvest when the leaves begin to flop over. The neck of the bulb where the stem meets the bulb begins to soften, causing the leaves to bend over. From this point on, they're contributing less and less towards swelling the bulb, and the onion is starting to prepare itself to shut down for the colder months, which is good news for us. The advice used to be that once a half to 2/3 of the onions had flopped over, you encouraged the others along by manually pushing them over, but apparently that can encourage disease, so best to avoid that. However, once you reach that point, you know you're only a week or two from lift up date. You can tell they're good to go because the skins have started to take on colour, a very encouraging sign that they are good to dig up. Now, of course, you can harvest your onions prior to this point to enjoy straight away, but if you want to store them for any period of time, best to let them fully mature like this lot are. If you are a little bit worried about damaging the bulbs, then do play it on the safe side. Just get a hand fork underneath the bulbs like that, loosen the soil, and then simply shake off the soil. Now, it's important not to damage the roots or the leaves because we need these for the next step, which is curing the bulb to enable it to store for as long as possible. Keep them intact so they can shut down the bulb naturally and it will store for as long as possible. And for that reason, I'd also advise against cleaning them too much. Don't mess around with them, just scrape off or shake off the worst of the dirt, but save cleaning them up till after we have cured them. We're only going to store good, healthy bulbs. So any that are really, really small or damaged or split, all that have flowered in fact, are best used up straight away. They'll keep for a week or two in the fridge though. And any that have gone a bit squidgy like that, well obviously we don't want that either. We're just storing these beautiful wholesome bulbs. In curing my onions, I'm looking to create a seal of papery layers around the bulb, just like these ones from the grocery store. This will help to lock out moisture and keep bacteria and molds from gaining a foothold, which could turn our bulbs soft and make them go bad. It will also help our bulbs transition from a sweet flavour to a more deeply aromatic flavour. To successfully cure my onions, I need to keep them somewhere completely dry and with good air circulation. If you're in a hot, dry climate, then you could probably just leave your onions on the soil surface and let the sun do its magic. Or you could watch the forecast like a hawk and then bring them under cover if rain is forecast. My climate, alas, isn't anywhere near like that, and we've got plenty more rain forecast. So these guys are coming under cover to do their curing. Oops. I'm going to dry them in here on this raised platform in the greenhouse. This should really help to encourage a good air circulation, and the added warmth will help to speed things along too. Now, of course, you don't have to dry them in a greenhouse. Any dry, well-ventilated space that's properly sheltered from the wind will, of course, do. So you could use a porch, a lean-to, a garage perhaps, or perhaps a miniature hoop house or tunnel with the onions raised off the ground. Anywhere that's dry, sheltered, and well aerated. Lay the bulbs out so they aren't overlapping too much, either horizontally on a rack if you have one, or just thread them through like I am to economise on space. And I'm taking great care to handle the bulbs carefully. We don't want any sudden drops or thumps to bruise or damage our bulbs and compromise our precious haul. Curing takes anywhere from a few weeks to a full month. I usually play it safe and go for the full month. At this point, the leaves will have shriveled up, the roots will have become all wiry, while the skins will have coloured up nicely and gone all papery. Now is your chance to clean up the bulbs. You can just brush off any loose dirt or remove the outermost kind of papery skins to leave a cleaner looking bulb. Though I prefer to just leave all of the skins intact because that helps with that moisture resistant seal. You can also lightly just trim off the roots like that, and if you want to, and you're just going to store them in a net or sack, just cut off the leaves like that to leave a stump, but take care not to cut into the bulb itself. However, if you want to weave your onions into a beautiful string, and we'll be doing that shortly, then leave at least 6 inches or 15 centimetres of the foliage intact, because we will need that to help us weave it all together. Fully cured onions can be stored in breathable nets or sacks. Carefully place the onions in there one at a time so as to avoid bruising them, and just don't put any in that are gone soft or look a bit suspect. Another option is to just tie them together in small bunches like this by their leaves on a piece of string, and this is quick and convenient and really helps with that all-important airflow. You'll need to leave most of the leaves intact though to enable this. Another option is to pop them into pantyhose or tights, old ones. Just pop them in there, either several in each leg of the tights or pantyhose, or place one onion in, tie a knot between it, and then the next onion in, and so on. But my absolute favourite way to store onions is in an onion string. Do let me know what your favourite method for storing onions is in the comments below, by the way. Now let me show you how to make an onion string. So first you want to start with a length of really strong string or twine, and then just loop it over a hook or nail that you can work from nice and easily like that, and then just tie it off. I've given a final kind of loop here of about 1.5 to 2 foot, 45, 60 centimetres. It doesn't really matter how long it is, but this is a nice comfortable length. Now I've got to make a little slip knot to put our first onion in. What the slip knot does is give us a adjustable kind of loop like that we can tighten around the leaves of our first onion bulb. And here we are. Here's the first one. Take the biggest one you can find, because that will give extra weight to kind of anchor it down into place. So thread the foliage through down to the neck of the bulb through our slip knot, and then just adjust it down so it's nice and firm, and that weight of the bulb will also help to kind of firm it down like that. And there you go, a lovely straight anchor. Now for the second bulb, and I'd take the second largest bulb and work in descending order in size. It's very simple. Pop it through your 2 strings like that and fold it back on itself and round in a sort of figure of 8, and then tuck the foliage so it sits under the bulb, and the weight of the bulb just holds it in position like that, and you can sort of push it down a bit like that. And then it's just a question of working around. So let's get our next bulb in. Again, feed it through the 2 strings, tuck it back on itself, and then let the bulb kind of anchor it into place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through kind of trying to alternate the bulbs a bit to get a nice kind of spiral effect as we go through, and it means the onions sit a bit sort of more tidily as well. And there you have it. That's not too shabby, I reckon. Now I could go a little bit taller and add more onions, but it really depends how lucky you feel. I don't want to snap this string, so this is pretty weighty, so I think I'll stop there. But either way, I'm so pleased with this, and I'm going to make a few more like this. Whatever method you use to store your onions, move them to a cool, dry place with good air circulation. Somewhere like a basement, a frost-free outbuilding, or even a cooler room of the house, out of direct sunshine and areas of high humidity would work just fine. Keep sacks or nets of onions up off the ground away from vermin, and do check them from time to time and remove any going soft or mouldy. Onion strings or bunches can be suspended from hooks on the rafters, and when you come to use the bulbs, take them from the top and work your way down so the rest still hold together. Well-stored onions should potentially last you right up to next spring, bringing you tantalisingly close to next summer's crop. Now do drop me a comment below if you've got any questions, or for my complete guide to growing onions, check out this video next. I'll catch you next time.